ESPN today released an expose detailing the timeline of trouble for Ja Morant at Memphis. And by all accounts, when he came out of Murray State, there were 0 red flags, according to the article. His first year, 0 flags. And then they started noticing some things. Like he was late for meetings. He'd show up late, particularly morning meetings, morning team events. And so they started noticing he was going to bars, but wait, he's only 20 years old. Well, yeah, but that's okay. His dad is taking him to bars and strip clubs because he's underage.
Dude.
Okay, well, maybe the dad's a problem. So they notice, and then he makes an all-star game. He's got a private jet, and he's doing a live stream. And he has the world's most expensive bottle of tequila. And he's on this jet, and he is live streaming himself drinking the world's most expensive bottle of tequila.
Oh.
Well, he shows up hungover, and some say drunk, according to ESPN, this report. His dad is allegedly taking him to strip clubs and bars when he's underage. And then they started noticing that he was like, hey, I'm going to bring my best friend to the game. Okay, no problem, man. And then the best friend turned into an entourage. And Ja Morant went from a kid that was described as humble and really nice, good family, nice guy, to a guy that the parking lot security dreaded because he would fight with them about where he was able to park. No matter where they asked him to park, he would fight with them. And then the staff in the building would dread his arrival because it would come with an entourage that was tough to deal with. And then you know the rest of the story. And it's remarkable to me that you're this kid who is arguably the face of the NBA at one moment in time, who now is serving a 25-game suspension. ESPN's writing exposés. The head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies met with his whole team and then separately met with Ja Morant. And everybody came out after those meetings, met with the media after this article came out. We got his back. We support him. We got his back. We support him. And maybe that is that they have his back and they support him. Or maybe it is that he's a guy that is very thin-skinned and is going through it right now. I don't know that he ever gets back to the level he was at. I have serious doubts about that. And he reminds me, sadly, of Allen Iverson. You guys remember the Allen Iverson stories? You probably do. Like, he was a heavy drinker.
Mm-hmm.
There are stories about, his mom would go on a trip and she would park her Escalade at the Philadelphia airport. She'd come back from the trip. She couldn't find it. So he'd buy her another one. Yeah, I don't know where it is. So they would find it, and it would be thousands of dollars in hock over parking tickets and parking fees because it was just sitting at the airport. Like, it's crazy stuff like that. And the hard part for me with Ja Morant is he might be the best guard in the league when he's healthy and when he's dialed and he's actually playing. But how much are you willing to invest in this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really difficult question to answer because it's like, at a certain point, it's incumbent on Ja to handle it. At a certain point, an organization who is incredibly resourceful. I mean, even in Memphis, right? I don't care what NBA organization you're looking at. They're resourceful. They can do things. They can help you. And at some point, though, it comes back onto Ja whether he's going to make that decision or not. Like, whether it's going to be, hey, Ja, we need you to not bring the entourage anymore, man. And we need you to make some changes here, because if you make those changes, that's going to allow you to be the kind of basketball player that you want to be on a more regular basis. And so it's like, yeah, cool. Taylor Jenkins can have meetings and do things, and okay, cool. We got your back, but that's only going to last for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, And I think you're right. What makes it worse is this guy's shown how good he can be. This is different than like, Zion's situation or anyone else you want to look at who's been troubled off the court. That's what makes this different is like, hey, this guy does have franchise player written all over him until all this happened. And I don't know. That ESPN article really paints T. Morant as a guy who never made it in the league and is living through his son. And
Yeah, it does.
And as as a son, like Ja Morant's in this position where, yeah, dude, if you're someone who's thin-skinned, you're gonna have trouble hurting someone's feelings a little bit so that you can get along with the business of NBA. And that's the question. Like, he's always gonna have the ability to be at the top of the league. He's got a gift. But that only goes so far.
So Ja Morant and his entourage walk into a club, according to this article, a Memphis business owner who says he's hosted every big-name NBA player one could imagine. And he also dreaded the moment that Ja Morant and his entourage walked in because it was always a problem. And he says he saw Morant and his entourage getting very disrespectful with a man's life. It got so bad that they actually started to threaten each other's lives. Like, this is the Terrell Owens story the other day.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the story about Terrell Owens, the wide receiver, the Hall of Famer, the stud? One of the best receivers ever, playing pickup basketball. Okay, cool. He gets into an argument with a guy while they're playing pickup basketball, so the guy got in his car and tried to run him over. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Ja Morant, in a club with your entourage threatening to kill people? Right? Like, Taylor Jenkins stewed as they walked into a hotel room early in February 2023. Ja Morant, their superstar, the hope and future of the Grizzlies, and a man one on the precipice, his very career swirling in question. A post-game confrontation between acquaintances of Morant and members of the Indiana Pacers party had led the Pacers to allege a red laser attached to a gun perhaps had been pointed at them from an SUV Ja Morant was in. Inside the hotel room, the two men tried to convey to Morant how his conduct had become a major concern, how it had impacted the team that he was supposed to lead, facing them 23-year-old. Their message, said one team insider, was simple: you're effing this up. And now he's got a 25-game suspension because, quote, the message just wasn't getting through. He just wasn't in a place to hear anyone or anything. Holy cow, bro. Holy cow. That's wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe, and I would love to get your thoughts in the comments. Like, do you guys buy into the fact that Ja Morant bounces back and he's learned his lesson? Because I do not.
Well, I think that Ja Morant as an individual sees the issues. I'm sure. I'm sure of that. But I don't believe that it all of a sudden he's just going to turn into someone that's going to be like, no, T, you can't come to the game. Nope, can't. We can't bring the entourage. Like, we gotta be arm's length here. Like, I don't know. And it's like, hey man, like at some point you got to do this, but at some point, if you don't, you're putting your organization in a position where they're going to trade you and you're going to get auto waived essentially or something, because this league is about playing and not being a problem. And
yeah,
like I always say this, I understand that a lot of NBA talent come from nothing, and the game is their life. And it is truly one of the best parts about the NBA is the story that these guys have coming from truly nothing and in changing everything in their family's history. But too often nowadays, with the advent of the cell phone and, just how the culture's changed in our world, too often you've got leeches. And that's what I would categorize T. Morant as, a leech. You're someone that can't get the hell out of the way and let your kid go and do his thing. I'm all for, if you raised Ja Morant and helped him get to the NBA, yeah, hey, Ja, can you help us a little bit? pay the house off, pay the car off, like just kind of set us up. I'm cool with that. That's fine. But why bring the guy down?
Why?
Why take a 20-year-old into a club or a bar or a bad situation? Why do that? That's what I don't understand. So is Ja Morant going to bounce back? The basketball player could walk into any gym tomorrow and dominate you.
Sure.
I have no doubt about
Sure.
that. But the person, that's what I'm just not confident in.
Yeah, I just don't know how you fix this, man. I don't know how you fix this. And I you know what? I feel like there probably is not a way to fix this. That'd be my guess. I feel like there's not a way to fix it. And I think when you look at the way that these cats go about their business, it's very hard when you say to somebody, "Hey, yeah, we're going to need you not to drink that tequila on a live stream." They're going to tell you to buzz off.
But see, like, that's a great example. Okay, you're young, you don't get it. You're 20 years old, you got all this money. You went from not having anything to sitting on a private jet with tequila. Okay.
The most expensive bottle of tequila in the world.
So I can understand, okay, this kid doesn't get it. But it's funny you bring that up because the live streaming aspect when all the Ja Morant stuff happened was the most dumbfounding portion.
It's how he got caught.
Yeah.
Live streaming in a club.
Yeah.
Live streaming in a car.
So
both with guns, both
Yeah.
with chicks. Live streaming on a jet, drinking the most expensive bottle of tequila. And it's what I keep telling you. We're not getting in trouble differently anymore. It's that we're showing people how stupid we are
Yes.
on social media and live streams.